On this day here today, I'll just start here a little bit, is that we are so blessed to have this beautiful covering of fog, even though it's almost July. But as you see the weather report around our country, people in such sweltering heat, we're pretty lucky that we have sweaters on and jackets. So, so we have to count our blessings in the long run. And it's so wonderful to have the children a part of this part of the service. They are such a delight. They are active co-creators of life, just looking at them. That last song has a lot to do with our service today of what is this force? What is this energy moving through us, creating through us, living through us? As we move into our topic today is recreating or co-creating with God. And when I thought of this topic, the first thing that came to my mind was a story that many of you may have heard, but it fits appropriately for this topic. It's the story of the farmer and the preacher. And there was this farmer who bought this farm that was abandoned and totally run down. The gates were down, the fences were all knocked down, and the farmhouse and the barn were falling apart. And the grounds, the weeds were just growing all over the place, so unkept. But he still had the intention and the desire to buy that land. And for those that are been here at our early time of Sunburst purchasing this property, maybe can relate to that image. But anyway, this farmer went to work day in and day out, and he built it up. He built the fences up and the gates and the farmhouse restored and the crops in the field and livestock around on the beautiful tended fields. And then the local preacher who was going around watching his work daily finally flagged the farmer down and said to him, "You and the Lord have accomplished such an awesome work here." And the farmer said to the preacher, "Reverend, just please remember what this looked like when it was only God doing the work." So the moral of the story is the wonderful work we have to do here as co-creators of working with Spirit, to truly have the ability to allow this, our Creator, this being of joy, of love. It's indescribable how to express this experience, this consciousness that is flowing through us and keeping us here in these bodies. But it wants to work through us. It wants to live in us. It wants to experience its creation through us and partake in it. And to be able to use and work through our hands, our hearts, and our minds. And with that, we have a short clip of our founder, Patty Paulsen, who was a big worker of co-creation with Spirit. It's a short clip.
I began to believe that God created us all, each one different, each one with a different face, that He might exist in each one of us and walk and talk and play and build and design, create music.
So that was short, but it was just showing that that is the work of why we are here. I have some quotes that I found. One is from Madeline L. Engel, who wrote in Walking on Water, God is constantly creating in us, through us, with us, and to co-create with God is our human calling. It's our work here. And it has been said that we learn to understand and trust ourselves as we learn to understand and trust ourselves and dissolve all the barriers that are holding us back, our fears and our doubts. And we allow the power we have to expand with awareness. Our joy is increased. This brings us joy. This brings us aliveness. Leo Tolstoy stated, "Joy can be real only if people look upon the life as a service and have a definite object outside themselves and their personal happiness." So the giving of ourselves without any sense of being entitled to the fruits of our actions is how we approach this gift to be a co-creator and to be a part of this process. So, how do we start becoming a co-creator? Where and how do we start? We start every day by continually doing our inner work first. By the caring of our body, by the purifying of our heart and our mind. So that we can bring forth our life force into the world like it's meant to be this clear vessel to co-create with Spirit. And how do we nurture ourselves is through conscious living, meditation, observing our thoughts, making sure we put out into the world our intention of positive, affirmative action and thoughts. Anne Morrow Lindbergh, in Gift from the Sea, wrote, "I want first of all to be at peace with myself. I want a singleness of eye, a purity of intention, a center core to my life. I want, in fact, to live in grace." What powerful values to carry into life, to be a co-creator with Spirit. Brother Norm in Sacred Science states, "Living upon the earth as Spirit intended brings heaven on earth again. We become the true caretakers of body and mind, with the soul in charge. This is what awaits us in the attainment and realization of our true nature, awakening into the pure self within our souls." And how do we allow our soul to be in charge of our lives? How does this happen? Well, this is the daily life practice. This is our journey. It's the practice of presence, practicing the presence of God. Every breath we take, every step we take, practicing the presence of God, allowing God to be the doer of our actions, of our words. We are blessed as human beings. We have been given the gift of senses. The senses are so sacred to allow us to really experience this creation fully. We've been blessed with a mind that can reason and make choices. And we have been blessed with free will to who we want to be in charge of our deeds and actions and thoughts. And this is, as it says in the Bhagavad Gita, the whole journey is the battlefield of the mind, of who does take charge. Because the sensory world is so strong and attractive and powerful that it can absorb the mind out into creation without the core of our being, the center of our being, with no one there, absent, unaware. And it can cause a lot of suffering in life. It can use that power in ways that can be harmful. Use that power that we have been given to create a lot of the things we see in the world that creates a lot of suffering. It's not hard to reach out too far to see the suffering in this world. Where people are divided, countries are divided. And the mind is divided. But we have the opportunity to learn techniques of where we can control our life force and be able to nurture and draw that energy, turn the searchlights of our senses inward, and truly take a good look of ourselves, to our own selves be true, and be here and find that true center within us, that pure self within us, so that our mind that is constantly making thoughts now gives its charge over to our higher self, our divine intellect, our pure self, that image and likeness of God within us all. We were made in this likeness and in this image, but we have free will. And this is the source of our happiness, our joy, our peace, that is ever constant, ever present in the midst of all our activities. Paul in Romans stated, "Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." What this means is being able to, with our inner energy and life force. Be aware of our mind, our thoughts, and hand the reins over to our higher self, that center within our soul of discernment, our intuitive ability, the eye of our soul to make good decisions in life, how to use our energy, how to be recharged immensely, how to become a clear vessel in purifying our hearts and minds, to be a clear vessel and co-create with this amazing divine power that can come through us and be the change we want to see in this world, be a partake in this work. And when we need inspiration in co-creating and feel at times distant and not a part of the divine source, like we can't grasp this energy, there are words beautifully stated about nature and how it can inspire us. For she is the supreme teacher. And as Norm Paulsen writes in Sacred Science, do you hear that creek gently running? Do you hear those waters cascading down the mountains on the way to the sea? Listen to it. Meditate upon nature. It is the visible body of spirit, the voice crying in the wilderness. Behold the gentle winds in the trees. Oh, what a sound. The elements of air pressing against the elements of earth. Listen and behold God's voice in nature. Once understanding this communion, God speaks to you in a voice from all space, calling you by name and giving you love and direction in your life. This is the pure self, the individualized spirit of God within you. So this is the power that we apply in co-creating with Spirit. And we want to trust in the journey. Our journey in this life is to awaken this consciousness, our true nature. This pure self wants to so much be a part of our lives, to be a conscious part of our lives with awareness. It is the source of our joy and happiness. It doesn't come from the outer world. You'll never find it there unless we first find it right within ourselves. We need to break through the bondages that hold us back, the mental bondages of fear and doubt, and fully embrace and realize this creative power of life force and love that flows through us, that is us. But we need to apply it consciously. We need to connect with it. So let us trust in the journey and allow our pure self to co-create with God and to be a divine caretaker of the earth through the works of our hands, our hearts, and our minds. Our pure self is not separate from God. It partakes of the infinity of God. And we have another saying from our founder, Patty Paulsen.
The years went by in my meditations, and they grew deeper and deeper, until finally one day I realized that something very wonderful was going to happen, that God was going to reveal himself to me, either as Mother or Divine Father. And it occurred for me. It happened for me. And I bear testimony of it, that God can be seen and heard and hugged and felt, that he joins us in the things we do, the songs we sing, the things we build. I began to include God in everything I did, the works of my hands, my thoughts, my meditations. Why would we spend our time in meditation? Why would we make this effort to know this divine being that created us? That's why.
So we're going to take about 15 minutes now of going into our meditation. And the key to having a good meditation is to be present in this here now moment. Our mind and our thoughts can carry us so much into the past and the future of things that we've given it ideas to think about. But it's a moment now of being in this here moment, because it's in this moment of now where you tap into this divine presence within us. This is where it exists, in this very moment with our breath. This very moment of being here now. And it moves through our body. As we relax, we can begin to feel this presence within us. And this is where, and the work we do inwardly to be able to express this and co-create with Spirit in our outer work, that we do. So to be here present as we calm our body, we calm our breath, and just notice the breath as we inhale and exhale in conscious full relaxation. And keep the gaze steady at the point between the eyebrows, just looking outward with eyes slightly closed or all the way closed. And if you notice your thoughts wander away, just gently call them back. I usually use one kind word. It reminds me of my mom calling me home when I was a child at night when we were out playing in the evening. She'd call us all to come back home. So my one word that sounds like the Divine Mother's love is to return. So every time I can catch a thought that has strayed away. Just being aware of that second that you caught it is so precious because it builds awareness in your consciousness. And just use your own word or just call return. 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 Let us take this moment now and go into our quiet time of communing and being ever present with the center of our being, the image of the divine existing at this very moment, here now with us. when we go into our meditations, when we have our daily practice of meditation, you may be confronted with the restlessness of your mind, thoughts going all over the place. And this may be why it's hard to sit in meditation, because of the thoughts. But the amazing part of it is the fact that you become aware of those thoughts is a big step, because that is happening all the time in your conscious waking life. But the sensory is so out in the world, you're not aware of it. And it can be quite exhausting. It takes a lot of energy for thoughts to go that way and keep kicking out and moving your senses into all desires and actions. And this is why meditation is so important. And a group meditation like we have here right now is so helpful, because it's helping us as a group to help us through that rocky part of meditation. And you can feel it. You can feel the energy of others in the room, and it helps our own spiritual discipline, which is a big help to take into your daily practice, because it's the practice of calming our body, calming our breath. It naturally begins to calm down the restlessness of those thoughts. And it allows you to have life force control, pranayama, to be able to direct this life force where it'll do the most good in the outer world. And this is such an essential, important part of being a co-creator or recreating with spirit, using this force and this power consciously, to be able to be tapping in to that creative force that we are. You have to quiet those thoughts and allow the soul, the pure self, to be seated on that seat of consciousness that guides and directs our will with wisdom. This is what our journey is. And this is what brings us great joy in life. This is what makes us feel complete and fulfilled in our life. And to realize that everywhere, there's nowhere that this consciousness is not, because you have it alive within yourself. And you're starting to see it outwardly in every face, in every being, because you've lit it up inside yourself. Paramahansa Yogananda stated, "Bless me that I may find thee in the temple of each thought and activity. Finding thee within, I shall find thee without, in all people and in all conditions." And that's the work of co-creating. And it's really important for all of us. I find this a tool that I really find very beneficial is the moment you wake from sleep, that moment of awareness of waking, notice your thoughts. This is such a fertile moment of imprinting in your consciousness, in your mind, to be renewed with positive thoughts and affirmations. Because thoughts are like seeds that have the power to reproduce supernaturally. You are co-creating your day by the power of your thoughts. And what you believe, you create. So it's super important to just take that moment and instead of a negative thought that the subconscious hears and the mind is going to constantly create it for you, positive, I am alive, I have life force, I am energized, I am so awake and ready to take on this day, this beautiful miracle of life. Well, I'm overreacting to it, but those are the ideas of words that you're imprinting inside you, and you're going to walk out and live it. If you walk out, if you wake up with words of, I'm not going to repeat them, because, but you'll know those words, just know that's what you're walking into in the day. So make your day a day of co-creating with spirit and power and life and love and enthusiasm and inspiration, and it's going to come to you. The joy, the happiness, the laughter. And those words that, from so many sources, I'll repeat them here, they say they go back to the Upanishads all the way through so many other sources, stated these statements in different ways. To observe your thoughts, they become words. Observe your words, they become action. Observe your actions, they become habits. Observe your habits, they become character. And observe your character, it becomes your destiny. So let us co-create in this amazing miracle of life together with Spirit at the helm in each of us. Amen.
Help me to see what you want me to see. Help me to be your hands. Help me to hear what you want me to hear. Help me to be your hands. Help these hands to build a wonderful new world of peace and harmony. Help these hands to build a world that is filled with love and beauty. Help me to feel compassion and empathy. Help me to be your hands, striving for love and bliss. Let my goal be this. Help me to be your hands. Help these hands to make the world a better place for all to live side by side. Help these hands to shape a peaceful place for our spirits to reside. Help me be your hand. Help me to be the person I should be. Help me to be your hand.